Okay, so these guys, this is the other end of the assembly, the whip or the loom that goes up and powers this guy. So these two guys need to be fed into the back as well. Now, did I tin these? Yeah, it looks like I actually tinned them. Lots of times you'll see that either wires were tinned by me or partially stripped or stripped completely, because I want to test the connectors for you. I don't want to send you something that doesn't work, because then you'll spend a month of Sundays, or I will, on the phone with you trying to figure out why it doesn't work. So all of these looms that I've gone ahead and put one of these connectors on, okay, those have all been tested for continuity before you get it, to make sure that you don't have that problem. So this is going to be the 4-wire set. That's the line voltage wiring. And I'm going to go ahead and just sacrifice a zip tie here and zip tie the 4 together. Alright. And we'll clip him off like that. And then we're going to feed this guy through to the back as well. Now you can see it's getting a little busy in here. Alright, and I want to neaten that up some. And so let's go ahead and pull this nipple in too and just be done with it. Remember, so push from the back with one hand and then pull from the front with the other hand. Now, try to make sure you don't break the end of the box out, okay? I mean, these things are plastic, so again, let's not King Kong them, because you don't necessarily need to do that. So we're going to find a nice route for this set. Just going to move these guys out of the way some. Now, I give you plenty of wire, and you can shove all the wire through if you want. There's no harm and no foul with that, okay? But if you leave a little loop on the inside, then once you cut the wire on the other side, if you say, oh my God, I just got it an inch too short, it doesn't look neat, or it hardly gets there, you have a little something to work with, okay? So this box will hold a little bit of wire for you, and that's half the reason why it's the size that it is. I want to make sure that if you need to change something or make a little mistake like that, it's forgiving, and you don't have to come in midstream somewhere and tie up another wire to it. So same thing, I'm looking at this root, I'm making sure that I'm not picking up or stabbing through the set of another wire group. And then I'm going to go around back, and this is probably going to catch on everything. See, now if you notice the way I freed this from over the top of a couple of these other wires, that's what you want to do. You don't want to try and bunch them all. Alright, now we can come back here and we can fiddle with this a little bit more later. Right now it's fairly neat. Back doesn't look neat, that's for sure. The back is a nightmare. Okay. I know it can probably be kind of painful watching me work, especially in this kind of state. I don't really like being watched work in the first place, so doing videos is one thing. Looking like the Lord Humongous here is another. So if you want a good laugh, look at some of the wiring videos from the other day. I got to admit, seeing my bald head go in there with this neck brace, it's just, it cracked me up. It was killing me. Watched it. So my sympathies for you building the project. I will try to get through some of them a little bit quicker. And bear in mind, a lot of my clients, they are real DIY novices. And so while some of the detail is painful for you to watch, I get it. Fast forward through some of it, get the ideas that you need to get, but let some of the newer guys pick up on some of the details. I realize that they run long. I realize I talk a lot. We're going to do a couple of things today. We're pretty much going to button up the rest of what you see here. Like I said, I don't think you need to necessarily see every single wire that I put in here. It's just a waste of your time, all right? You've got the gist of the conventions, etc. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to route the water cooler line. Okay, so this is the type of fitting that I'm typically using today. There's a small collar on the front, and you can generally push the tube in till it stops. This is standard 1/4 inch or 6mm tubing for those of you in the metric system, the real measurement system. So if this ever gets mold or green stuff in it or anything like that, you can pull it apart from here. You basically depress the outer ring back towards the fitting, right? So depress the ring and then just yank it back out. That's it. It's really simple. If you can yank it back out without depressing the ring, you didn't get it in far enough, okay? And you don't want the thing spilling all over on the inside, so just be sure that you anchor it correctly. So enough lecture about that. So what I've done is I've come in and I've routed behind, as you can probably see over there in the corner. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I've gone ahead and routed the water line up, and we're just going to let it dangle over here for a while. We added the humidifier lead the other day. I went ahead and landed this fan lead from that fan up there, and I left that open for a reason, because what we're going to do here real quick is, remember, sometimes you might have to look behind my fans for fasteners, all right? And this guy is adjustable, because not every single one of you guys is going to put this back assembly in exactly the same place as I do. Remember, this back assembly uses these jacks, and the jacks are universal. I want you to all put them at the same size, but remember, these things don't have to be exactly right. And I want this very close to the bottom, but I don't want it so close that when you turn it on, it vibrates on there, because that'll probably drive you nuts. And you'll come back, you might hear a buzzing sound coming out of it, and you say, Jesus, there's something buzzing in here. It's driving me crazy. Well, that's probably what it is. So that's what you do, is you look for a fan that's touching something, that's chafing on something, because some of these fans are really high output. They run really, really fast. They do have a little bit of vibration in them sometimes, and they might buzz some. So the other thing we're going to do, if I can do this without fumbling too much, is we will go ahead and put the fan back together again. And remember, these guys are a little awkward to work with, okay? Hopefully you can see that. But these do have spacers in them, and the spacers, the intent, of course, is to make sure that if you push boxes up against the cigars, that the fan can still breathe. It's very important. If you absolutely need the room, you can take the spacers out if you want to, but I don't really suggest it. And like I told you guys before, with my fans, all right, you need to notice the convention. The fan only runs one direction. And in most cases, most of my ducted tubing will pick up air from the outside, push it, force it through the duct. And you can see a lot of these. You probably can't see that, but there are arrows, in case you don't really know the direction of fans. There are arrows which show you which way the fan spins and which is the high pressure side. Okay, so just keep note of that. Like I told you, watching me put those spacers in there was probably going to be painful. Worse for me than it was you. But don't forget to get the spacers in there. Like I said, told you just before, be mindful of which direction. You take a fan assembly apart, be mindful of which direction the fan blows. And I could see that the camera wasn't even looking at that. So you just looked at my back and watched me do a heck of a lot of nothing. That's cool. Anyway, what I did was I did get behind this fan to tighten this assembly. All right. This guy's now firm against the back. The fan has now been remounted. It's flat. These are nylon fasteners, and they're just hand tight, okay, but it doesn't feel like the fan is going to vibrate, so that's the important part of that. I don't think you need to watch me put this plate back on or some of the rest of that. I don't think I'm going to bring the sensor in right in here yet. So for all intents and purposes, to zoom back out a little bit, we are very, very, very complete, short of some cleanup on the inside here. We'll get the sensor assembly, the drawer, the shelf will go in. That's about it for this one. We're going to turn the whole assembly around. We're going to look at the control center and what you can expect to see. we'll go ahead and mount the control center on the back, and you might as well see it happen real time instead of watching me explain it. So that's it. We're actually looking really, really good here. Going to put this inspection plate back on, and we're going to call this side done for a while. We'll come back probably as a last minute thing just to neaten it up and show you what it looks like when it's really complete. Thanks for watching.